How you doing, YouTube? Matt Massa Beer Reviews, back with semi-new brewery time. Just went to these guys' place up in Orange County, New York. Reviewed one of their beers, double IPA, posted that actually in that night. So not far removed from that one, and that would be Tin Barn Brewing. This is actually their Session Hayride IPA. This is a 5.3% unfiltered, sediment is natural, hazy session beer. 5.2. Playing a little loose and fast with the definition of session here. 5 is the cutoff, but we'll let it slide. In the grand scheme of things, anything's a session beer if you try hard enough. That's what I say. Label-wise, it's all right. You know, kind of remind me. Somebody actually said it reminded them of White Claw on my first review. It kind of does remind me of the White Claw logo, so it is what it is. But, you know, branding is not going to make the beer taste better. Although, I would say more often than not, really good beer has really good branding. Anyway, but there's really poopy branding and really good beer. It's called Olive Belgian beer, and Olive, more specifically, Trappist beer. Anyway, nice soft haze to it. I mean, you can definitely see through it a little bit. A rich kind of orange glow, a little bit darker than what you expect from a traditional kind of hazy session beer. Done and done. Crispy head on it. You know, little soapy edges. Let's get a nose. I mean, it really does smell like a smaller version of that Double Cannon that I reviewed, and that it's this big, rich, orangina-like kind of citrus on it. A decent, I was going to say a little, but there's a decent green kind of weedy, pulling weedy, smoking weedy, tomato stocky kind of greenness going on for it, too. Nothing overly sweet. It smells like it's going to have a decent bittering along with it, so hopefully there's a little bit of sweetness to back that up. Just dive right in. Cheers. Okay. Yeah, it's tasty. It's weird because it's not what I expected. Because just based off of the beer that I had from them, I assumed it was going to be like a through and through New England style hazy kind of session. The looks should have tipped me off. But it really is more of kind of a mixture between a Midwest kind of hazy, like even like a Two Hearted kind of vibe, and a New England style hazy, or more even closer to like an old school kind of New England style hazy, like your Fiddleheads of the world, those kind of beers, your Sips of the world, with a little bit of dollop of New School on top of it. Big orange, candied orange kind of characteristic with it. A nice sweetness that balances off that decent amount of bittering you get with it. Doesn't drink anywhere close to 5.2. It actually drinks more like a 6 and change % kind of IPA. And that bittering's nice. It is that green tomato stock kind of weedy, pulling, smoking dankiness that you get from a lot bigger kind of IPAs. I like this. Once I actually pump the brakes in the preconceived notion, which is this is just going to be a New England style hazy session IPA like everybody else makes, and you actually sit down and wrap your head around it, it's probably one of the better versions of these beers that isn't that drop out all bitterness kind of thing. You know what this actually reminds me of, and I mean this in a very, very positive way. It's a beefier, more robust version of like Bell's Lighthearted. And I already said Two Hearted Ale. It's kind of like a tweener version of that, but with a little bit more extra. New England style soft hazed attributes on it. This is a fun beer. This is a tasty beer. Not what I expected. Sometimes we get what we don't expect in a good way. Well done. The way that citrus shows up for me, it still kind of ventures into that kind of orangina thing that I got from that Two Cannons, but I like the way it plays a little bit more in this beer. I like the way the sweetness kind of comes off, and the maltiness has this soft kind of generic kind of maltiness, but that sweetness is very much needed, especially at this low ABV. It starts getting this low, that sweetness can't be propped up like it usually is, and it bounces off that decently kind of green, ranky-danky kind of thing on the other end of the beer. It's fun. It's tasty. I dig it. I like it. Yeah. Happy camper. So let's talk about it. This is one of the better hazy IPAs that I've had as of late. Session. Sub 6, because we got to do that. Yeah, it's up there. I don't think it's Mount Rushmore status for me personally, but at the same time, I think it's really fun way of doing a session IPA that isn't what everybody else is doing. Even though I related it to Lighthearted, it's more like that gap in between there. It's that low 5% range that kind of reminds me of that beer a little bit. But I can't stress it enough. It does have that soft little New England style, soft kind of haziness to it. Kind of separates from those beers. Value and availability. I think the price point on this was like $18, maybe even 20. COVID times. What are you gonna do? And leave you with, if you like what we like this beer. If you like Midwest IPAs, you like a little bit of old school New England style IPAs. Like I said, your Second Fiddles of the world, your Fiddleheads of the world, your kind of Sips of the world. But you want a little bit smaller, kind of slightly juicier kind of package. There you go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Down there if you want to talk about it. Massive Beers if you want to check me out doing the social media stuff. Beer Massive. Want to check me out doing the whole podcasting thing. And hopefully you guys enjoyed our review. Hopefully you're enjoying a little bit of a session IPA right now. Hopefully see you next time.